What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday in the universe. Messing around with some Ableton Move. I thought I'd do a stream on Move today because I haven't done that in a while. And, a technique I've been doing with it, I just did the latest operating system update. So welcome to the channel if you're here for the first time. If you've seen me before, welcome back. And the idea that what we're going to talk about today with Ableton Move is basically your ability to chop up samples, right? So I picked some drum and bass samples today, so hopefully whoever's watching likes some drum and bass. That intro channel or channel song was made, just with stuff that comes off of Move. The one I was working on. So here I was messing with the drum loop that I took. Right, and basically the chop function in Move is pretty awesome in that sense that if I'm going to take a sample, and I don't want to do a feedback loop, so I'm going to unplug the input real quick and then make sure I'm plugging in the right thing. So let's say this one, yes. And so inside of Move, if I was going to take a sample, and I'm going to go to a brand new project, so that's just brand new project, and usually there's stuff loaded, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit record, and now what we've got going on here is the input from the stream. So I'm basically, here's my voice right now going into it, and what I found is the input on it is extremely low, which doesn't make me too excited because I got this thing cranked and I'm screaming into it and it still doesn't sample very loud, so we're gonna have to adjust this. But here's a good example. So basically, if you hit record on the drum end, you're on a drum track, you basically have drums loaded, and then you hit record and it turns red. Now, the ability to just sample on a pad, you just hit the pad, make a sound, take a sample. It's that easy. But the chop function is if you hit pad sequentially, it knows you're taking a sample from a drum beat, right? So the drum beat we're going to use, of course, is going to be some familiarized drum and bass loop. So let's listen to a couple that I have. Okay, so that was the sample. And sorry, this takes me a second because I don't want to blow our ears. And you could see me chopping it. I was dancing to the beat as I chopped. Okay, so now I can adjust. So we got a chop of that version. And this is, I'm not sure which way they consider it, but all right, so how I typically do this now when I'm going to make music is there's this thing called capture. You can capture the last thing you did, and that's this square here. So if I get a feeling when I'm it'll give me an idea, so, and then I can undo it, and I can do it again. So we could say new capture, and I could say So that was bad too. Let me try it again. No, that was bad again. I'll keep trying. Do you see how fast that was, right? I swear I did not rehearse this. This is like, do you see how cool, like, Move can help inspire you to make, I think, some of the coolest things that I get into. And I'll do it again. Here's the lick, right? And I just made that bass line, right? And I did that kind of cheesy thing, right? So what I'm working on now is how to chop. Yeah, how to chop. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is pretty cool. All right, so let's take an example again. I'm going to do that again. So same chop technique that I did before. So I'm going to go to a new project, brand new. And like I said, I didn't really rehearse any of this. Like, I just want to kind of show everybody what I've been doing with the way that Move can chop up drum beats. So this is like, we could do it with hip hop. We could do it with drum and bass. I picked drum and bass is what I'm doing today. So this is just going to be me doing another drum and bass beat. So here we go. Let's pick another one. Maybe that's more hip-hop, right? So, okay. So, that's going to be the sample, right? So, I'm going to get everything ready. And again, I take the sample right off the sound card. So, I'm going to hit the button, and then I'm going to take a... All right, and you saw me cutting it, like, so as my hands went, switch. That's actually where I was doing the chop point. So I'm going to just give it more volume on all these because, again, these inputs are super low. I couldn't figure out why it was so low, so I tried to do that a little bit before stream, and I just was like, you know what, I'd rather show you guys. And all I do is I hold down a pad and I turn up the volume so that the gain all right, and again, like I was picking drum and bass, but now like this is capture. So up in this corner and Move, if you were just like sketching out an idea, you could hit that button and it would know what we were doing. So we're gonna do that now. We're gonna sketch it out. We're gonna say, all right, and that was it. So if I quantize it, we're going to get a cool... And now, okay, super trick that I do on Move as well is I actually use... Let's see, like so. I mean, it always sounds good. I don't know how this device does it. Okay, so real quick and easy. You know, dark swell pad. Listen, no. Yeah, here we go. Getting creepy with it. So here we. And then you can automate anything in this device, which is super awesome. So if I want to like kind of clean up stuff a little bit, sine wave is kind of nice. And lower the volume, you know, of tracks. You just hold the button and turn it down. But this came from an idea that I just sampled right now, right? And personally, I would pick like a piano. So again, this is just me as quick as I... There we go. Something a little more mellow, right? So silly. And you can just undo with the back arrow. But now you're seeing, I'm going to do it one more time because I always want to prove to y'all that like it's not just like a fluke, right? So you can go to a blank, you go to the drums, and the moment I hit record, like it's basically ready to go, like to record something. The method I'm choosing is chop this time, so I'm going to record pads in like a sequential order. You could just hit a pad and just sample onto a pad, but we're going to do it a little different again. I'm going to just show you guys from a sample that I take, like how I chop it. And I'm taking it right from the sound card. This could be anything, like a movie. This could be somebody talking. This could be, you know. And some of these are just classic. Okay, so I found the one I want. Hopefully some of these are familiar. If any old jungle heads are out there, that's just kind of what I'm using, are some jungle samples, which I love, are drum and bass. All right, and that fast. Like, see how quick that was? Boom. And now, like I said, I just edit by turning up the sample. And I like that because it adds some artifact. So I personally do take my samples a little lower and then preamp it or kind of crank it in the sampler. And that'll give it some weird... You can hear it. There's some dirt on that. It's cool. And just, you know, to start a track, you know, having a good set of samples. You got the pitches over here, which... So you can do chops any way you want. So remember capture, what I said before. We're just going to fool around, and then we hit this button to do it. So it's... Yeah, so just so simple, right? And then you can do other chops in there. That stuff. That might be a little loud. So it's terrible, right? But it's funny. Just like a constant rise, right? Okay, that's how fast chopping up things on Ableton Move is. Like, it's literally that quick. And now that you have that chop... I mean, you can just do the silliest things with it. This is where I try to tell you to like enjoy making music instead of like being so confined to like some kind of parameter. You know, you can always sample things and kind of move outside of the box, right? So, all right, now I'm going to show one more example this is typically how I work in the studio, so this is a little bit of like a stretch. I'm not saying this to be strange, but I'm saying like a lot of times I take my own samples, like I make my own beat and I make my own stuff and I make my own drum loop, right? So it's me playing the physical drums, right? And right now I just was going to do something easy with like an Electron, just like some kind of like super simple beat that I've made, right? So it's just electro, right? And again, I'm gonna make like a brand new track, and we're gonna use one of my samples now, right? So what would happen if we did it with our own music? You know, that's always my question, because that's the point of taking these samples. Like if we did this and we just sampled everybody else's music, right? Is there any reason to get a digitone too? I would say take one instrument at a time and see if it's something that you really think you're lacking. I like the OPXY for drums and monophonic, and it can do chords. Digitone is a master of polyphony and making drums. I really love the Digitone for drums. I never tell anybody though to keep stacking gear, and you know the original Digitones are only $400. So Tires FX, just remember you could get a used one for like a half of the price, then just learn how to use it for like a year or two. If you're really new to music, cheap used gear is always good, and every Electron box I think that I've ever bought has been used. Isn't that funny? I always buy used ones. So yeah, I would say yeah, you could do you could definitely like pair them. They pair very well together. Yeah, so good call. All right, well, we're gonna take a sample now of my own stuff. So I'm gonna hit play on my music, and then I'm gonna hit record. Okay, so quickly I took my sample, and we got to switch the input. Remember, I turn them up, so each one. I don't know if this is going to be any good because I'm just doing this. I'm winging it, so we'll see how good it turns out, right? I just like that fact that I do wing this a lot, so I show everybody like the studio process is definitely... Oh yeah, this is going to be crazy. Ready? All right, so we're going to... Okay, so you capture it, right? Let's see how close. Pretty, I mean, there we are. Two, three, and... I mean, you're seeing it doesn't have to be perfect to do this. So I think like the whole idea today was to learn chopping things up and being imperfect actually makes it cool. Do you hear that decay? It's that weird cutoff, and that's from sampling it, you know? So a lot of times, even sampling your own loops makes the coolest things happen. And I would tell you, like, the idea that you sample your own stuff and give your own music a chance is such a great idea. I would also say, you know, using different instruments and different samplers. Now you see why I use Move. Sometimes I use an OPXY. Sometimes I use a Digitac, because each one samples a little bit different. Each one has a little different character, and then each one has a different way that you can like interpret the sample. This one it's really cool because it's like a piece of tape when it's on the pitch side, and you can make really cool, that weird trail. You can make really cool accidents happen. So samplers really make you have accidental trails and new sounds that you might not have had. And when you pitch them down, it sounds way different. So like, or pitch them up a little bit. But sometimes pitching them down is like a really great idea too. So, okay, well that was today, Ableton Live Move. That was me trying to show you my techniques for the chopping and laying beats down. Hopefully you got to see like something super simple. Yeah, no problem, Tires. Thanks for tuning in too. But yeah, I would say OPXY is a lot of fun. I love pairing it with my Digitac. The big thing with using any of this MIDI gear, just make sure you get the right MIDI cables because that makes the sync work properly. But everybody have a great Tuesday. It's February 18th. And if you need anything, comment. Leave me a comment, let me know, send me an email. You can always subscribe to the channel if you like seeing more stuff like this, and you can always throw me a like if the content has taught you something. So, yeah, hey, go out there and enjoy the day and go make some music, okay? Everybody take care.